And welcome back to Let's Play Little Goody Two Shoes. No music albums to recommend today, as we are not really going into anything blind or reminiscing. It is now time to get into a more guided section of the LP. Last time, we got to see Freya's fate with Elise, as well as what would happen if Elise decided to plunge the knife right into that back. Admittedly, it was a decision made somewhat in ignorance, but the end result was still the same either way, so, you know, well, details. Regardless, I have taken the time and opportunity here, if I can click on the game screen, to actually get a bunch of save files made, one for each day of the game, so that we can do a run-through of every single date. Additionally, this final save file here, Friday during the witching hour, this is before the festival, of course, and it is set up in such a way that we qualify for every single ending. So not every file I'm going to be loading into is following a continuous path. We are just doing what we can to set up for an ending, and then I can go back to each and every day and show off the individual particularities. The main reason for that, of course, is because some dates are double booked, so we do have to make the decision of who to hang out with, and if we ignore someone 2 days in a row, that permanently cuts off their romance route. Now, before we actually get into exploring that a little bit more, some other things to highlight is going into the settings and the general settings for the game here, you'll notice this option called Force Skip. This makes it so that the fast forward button can be used in every single cutscene in the game. There are quite a few that it'll actually prevent you from using it in, possibly just to keep it, avoid a situation where somebody puts the controller down and it hits the fast forward key, and you lose out on pertinent information. Obviously, since I've already beaten the game, this is just a boon for getting through the game as quick as possible. The other thing I'd like to get into is that, obviously, we can get a different result by dating either Rosenmarine or Lebkuchen, but there is a third hidden route where you can actually uncover some of the sinister going-ons in the town of Kieferberg. And I put out some feelers to see what people would be interested in seeing next, and if I'm being super literal in how I interpret the feedback I got, technically we've got a three-way tie, but both of the posts I got weighing in were interested in seeing how the secret plot route plays out. One of them explicitly putting that over a date with Lebkuchen, or the Lebkuchen date route. The other just being interested if that is a possible route for the game to go. And yes, uncovering the Sinister Plot does lead to its own ending, mutually exclusive with the dates. So I figured that would probably be the most interesting one to go into. Everybody seems to be curious what exactly is going on with that. But that's not all that I have to go over in this video so far. Just to start things off immediately, I'm actually going to load into the Witching Hour file right before we get to the festival, because there is a cutscene I can show off right at the beginning of Saturday. So one of the game-long side quests that we've been doing is, of course, collecting the Golden Maidens. In the main playthrough, I missed a good chunk of them, though I did end up finding most of them. There are 25 Golden Maidens altogether. I'm not going to go into detail on how to find all of them specifically, because I did show off most of them. The ones that I primarily missed were located in Kieferberg during the nighttime, because it wasn't until halfway through the week that I even realized you could find some in the evening. But if we look at our jar here... Huh?
What is this?
Once you collect all 25 Golden Maidens, a trail of fireflies will form upon examining the jar. I actually didn't know you could get this scene right now. I waited until the morning when I first confirmed this. I haven't seen the scene, so I'm still going to be blind on this. Where are all those fireflies going? So yeah, this is going to be my honest first reaction to this scene here. I keep hitting the D-pad and then realizing, no wait, this is an analog-only game, but it's going into Granny Holly's room. What in the Lord's name? Hello. Not a familiar visage to us. Don't misunderstand, lassie. You can't take it back. I have no regrets, demon. Take her and do with her what you will. As long as you keep your promise, just the same as I've kept mine. Rather cold, aren't we? I've made my choice, that's all. Very well, lass. I'll be expecting you at my banquet. Sorry. I will say, it is probably better that we're getting this scene after we've already got an ending and we got our proper introduction to Ozzy. Would probably be a little bit confusing, or perhaps a little bit of a, not really spoiler, but I feel like the reveal would hit less if we already had a hint to the existence of the third Demon Lord. For the record, I've been saying the crow's name wrong the whole time. I feel like I have some defense here. It's a very weird font, deliberately so that they use for the names. The crow is actually Murim, not Ovrio, so my bad on that one. Nobody corrected me on that, though, so I can't be the only one who made that mistake. That's the cope I'm going with. Where am I? Looks like we've got 3 Golden Maidens here also. Wait, you can't do this to me! What did you do, Valerie? You've had it coming since long ago, Alpenrose. Flaunting your wealth in our faces day in, day out. What are you talking about? Really, Valerie, I don't want to do this anymore. He's sworn it, Sani. We got him the gifts. He's sworn. He'll get us both out of here. No, I can't. Wait, Sani! What is this about, Valerie? This is all your fault, Alpenrose. All of it! You there, help me! Huh? Me? It's too late for you, Alpenrose. No, Valerie, don't! Oh.
What is this?
What in the... What did you... He'll become one of us too, lassie. Kept close to him and his vassals, ready to answer their every whim. Trinkets, showpieces, kept for his amusement. Whether it's your wish he's granting, or someone else's. This is the price to pay for uttering his name. The price we paid for his blessing.
Wait!
Get away. Stop! What was that? A dream? Huh. Can we get any more information on that? No. Just, look like some past Golden Maidens. We actually got some names there. Sani, Valerie, and, oh. Sani, Valerie. Sorry, the last one had a weird name, so it's already slipping my mind. Oh my goodness, it started with an A. Oh, this is humiliating, because we literally just saw it. Well, it'll come back to me in a second. That's not really what I wanted to focus on right now. What I would like to focus on is a bit of a non-standard game over here. So I'm going to load into the Friday morning for a very particular reason. Oh god, you know what, hold on, I'm gonna cut the video here. I have to look it up, because I feel like an idiot. Alpenrose. I kept getting your name mixed up with Opfel, but Alpenrose. So Sani, Valerie, and Alpenrose. Bit interesting there. Anyways, I'm loading into this Friday morning because if we take a look at our locket here, you'll see that we have pretty high suspicion, and that will allow us to get a non-standard game over, which is something of an ending in its own right. I figured I should show this off at some point, just because it would be worthwhile to do so. Let's get into the town real quick, and of course I have to advance the story events, so let me just get into that, but just showing off here, yeah, you just hold the right trigger if you're using an Xbox glyph controller in order to fast forward every cutscene. As long as you got that force skip option, you will be able to speed through every cutscene with no problem. Alright, so our first order of business here is to, of course, build up some suspicion. Once you have an adequate amount of suspicion, when you advance to the next time slot, you will instantly get the game over. So, we already have an opportunity to get some suspicion here. We've got Mindy over here asking for a bribe, and we are just going to completely blow her off here. Now, on my own independent playthroughs, I actually did successfully bribe her every single day. You don't get any real acknowledgement for doing this beyond the achievement. There is no special reaction if you do successfully bribe her every day. You dare drag my name through the mud and I'll throw you? Who cares at this point? Oh, wow! Ooh, that's brutal! That just destroyed us. I was not expecting to get that much suspicion off the back of a single failed bribe, but you know what? That works, that works. So once you have maxed out suspicion, the second you advance a time slot, you will immediately be getting a non-standard game over. So just to save the most time possible, I'm going to go into a date with Lev Kuhin here. Not going to show it just yet. I'm just going to do the date just to advance time, so let me take care of that. Alright, heading into the next time slot, we found out that Mandy is quite effective at slandering us, despite her poor reputation among the town, so things are not going to go so good for us once we get into the next time slot. There she is! Ah! Forgive us, Elise.
What in the Lord's
Let go of me!
That's enough.
This is as far as you go, Elise.
Wait!
You heard him, lass. We've had it with the likes of you witches.
Elise! Rose and Marine? This is ridiculous!
What's the meaning of this, Father? It's for your own good, Elise. We must put a stop to this before it's too late. Oh, I'm so sorry, Elise.
That's enough.
It's time you confess, Elise.
Out with
Confess to what, you? Your witchery, lass. All of Kieferberg knows what you're scheming. We found an effigy in your home, Elise, in old Holly's bedroom.
it, you old
You
geezer!
broke into Granny Holly's bedroom? Your cousin, too. We can't be certain about who she truly is. A witch! Both of them! Wretched witches!
I am not a witch, you!
If only there was a way to be certain, Elise. Mr. Gustav? We need to make certain this stops here, or... Oh, please. Please forgive me. I never intended to.
Rose and Marine!
Not one more word, folks. Away with the witches!
Out with it!
Can't do this! Mr. Gustav, everyone must know this is wrong.
That's enough!
Elise is right, Papa. We can't do this to them.
That's enough.
You have to stay here until dawn, whether you're witches or not.
You old geezer!
You can't leave us here, you old fool!
That's ridiculous!
What exactly is this meant to achieve, Father? Perhaps time will prove them innocent. However, if the witch's torment comes to a halt, we will know they're behind these horrors.
This is ridiculous!
It's our only chance to protect Kieferberg, Elise.
Wait!
Let us hope this all comes to an end tonight.
Out with it!
Fools! I'm sorry, Elise. This is all because This isn't the time for your self-pitying nonsense, Rosemarine. Can't you see we're... Uh-oh. What was that? You've come to me at last. What? My beloved progeny. Well now, so, I mean, at least we weren't burned at the stake, but getting tied up in the woods, not exactly good for our health. That's not really why I wanted to go over. It is worth noting that there is almost always a chance to save yourself whenever you are too high on suspicion. In that specific instance, I wasn't expecting the failed bribe with Maggie to give us maxed out suspicion there. There were at least 4 conversations we could have had around town to modify our suspicion, obviously gaining it if we gave the wrong answer, or mitigating it if we gave the correct answer. So you pretty much always have a chance to save yourself, and obviously you can avoid gaining a lot of suspicion if you just don't talk to anyone altogether. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to pop open another guide real quick in order to follow up on the mysterious plot going on underneath all of Kieferberg. We're going to hit up all the main events that we can do for that and figure out just what's going on with that note that we found on in the church. What note are you asking about? Blech. What note might you be asking? Why, this one, of course, that we picked up right at the start of the game. Now, your opportunity to follow up on this mysterious note is very, very narrow. Since it's been so long since we've seen it, let's actually reread this real quick. There's something written on here. Hallowed Valpurga, sanctified be thy name. May thy will be everlasting, and thy grace all-embracing. Quenched thou shalt be on the Sabbath of the full moon. May this prayer find its restful place in thy life-bearing grove. A prayer? There's something else at the bottom. Kieferberg's offering lies in the crossroads beyond the maypole. May thy thirst be quenched, thy blessings received. In the crossroads? Wonder who dropped this? And once again, we get that symbol there. That is, of course, including us in the player. That is the maypole insignia. Now, I obviously... Ah, boy, Elisa's already complaining. I already noted early on that that symbol was at the crossroads, but by the time I actually properly noticed that it was there, we had already missed our opportunity to actually follow up on the... Note, you have to do this on the first day. If you fail to investigate the Maypole ruins, you will not be able to continue this quest line. Heading into this cave right here.
What is this?
Was this opening here before, I wonder? This place is so stuffy. So, one thing you'll notice right away is look at Elise there. Her sanity is dwindling by being in here. You probably got through the game, if you're like me, thinking, wow, our sanity really didn't come up all that much. I mean, the only thing that really dented it is that if we talk to a Golden Maiden, we'd lose a chunk of it, like 8 to 10 sanity, assuming we have a 100-point scale. So I only really had to get a couple grape juices and found one St. Valpurga's oil. I never really had to worry about running out of sanity. These caves that we're going to be going through, or rather, maybe I should say, the areas related to this note, this quest line, just by being in them, Elisa's sanity will rapidly decline. And this is where sanity restoratives really come in handy, because going through these caves, you are very much at a high risk of a sanity death, especially if you enter with low sanity. If you want to get that achievement for dying due to sanity loss, though, stepping into this place and not doing anything is the best way to get it. I'm hanging on the pause screen here just so we're not losing sanity. We want to move quickly. First off, is that a priest's robe? Get the first diary entry. This looks an awful lot like that old geezer's robe, doesn't it? Now that you mention it. What is this? The miracle of our beloved patroness, St. Valpurga. After last evening's event, I have no choice but to take responsibility. Not only for St. Valpurga's sake, but for old Holly's as well. Huh? Granny Holly? On her deathbed, old Holly confessed all of her sins. Among her most mundane missteps, she told me of Elise, of her many prayers to cure her of her childlessness. Yet what struck me as remarkable was the miracle she claimed was granted, that the woodland itself granted her a wish for a child. As she put it herself, he granted her wish for a heavy price. How can this be? What did old Holly truly mean to say? If this truly did happen, Elise was conceived by St. Valpurga's divine intervention. Yet if not for St. Valpurga's blessing, then who is he? Old Holly didn't seem delirious, nor did she lose her composure. I have more questions than I can answer at this moment. What's going on here? I'd best hold on to this piece of paper. So it looks like Father Hans always knew a little bit more than he was letting on. We don't know the full context of what he's talking about there at this point, though. Item get a tattered note. This is another prayer. Hallowed Valpurga, sanctified be thy name. I beg thou for a sign, a testimony to my plea. May you accept this offering, the remnants of thy miracle. Kieferberg welcomes thy blessings, thy guidance. Someone must be leaving these around. But who? There's something else at the bottom. Find proof of our faith up at the peaks, buried within the windmill that once was. This is that old windmill up in the mountains. And once you get that, you better be ready to react quickly. Oh dear, oh dear. I don't know what that is. I don't want to know. We gotta get out of here. Just mash the A button there. If that guy touches you, you die instantly. It looks like something fell in the cave, but... What was that thing? I was dreaming? Was I dreaming, or... I think I might need something to clear my mind. Goodness gracious. Once you've gotten that scene, the ruins are closed off. You cannot re-enter them. I wonder if there's something up there in that windmill. I don't know what that was about, or what that thing was, but what I saw in there was a ritual of sorts. There's no doubt about it. Now, of course, the windmill is the windmill she's talking about is the one on the vista. We had one date, or the viewpoint. We had one date take us here, but otherwise this area has not been too significant up to this point in the game. And not right now is it significant, but if you have gotten those notes from the cave there, then on a following day, it will become significant. So let's cut ahead to the next day where we can actually follow up on the notes we got and investigate the windmill. The next day that we can follow up on this little line of investigation is Tuesday. You just have to advance the time beyond the dawn, and then you can head to the viewpoint in order to investigate the windmill. If you are on the quest line, you will find that the windmill is open. This stone is no longer blocking the path. This wasn't open before. Someone's been in here recently. Have to be careful. Now, technically speaking, you don't have to do this right away on Tuesday. There is actually a bit of availability to do this one. Note that there are things that will hurt you here, and your sanity dwindling. This is a much bigger area, so it is a much more realistic problem that you run out of sanity here. We get the wooden seraph. Oh dear. This cave, it's broken in half. What's this doll doing in such a place anyhow? It's so flimsy, too. I could break it rather easily, couldn't I? You know, now that you mention it, Elise, it is looking a little light there. Why don't we take a closer look at that thing? Oh, hey, yeah, just break it. We get the seraph head, the seraph's body, and the seraph's legs. Now, to solve this puzzle here, we have to put the seraph pieces in the proper place. Obviously, this head right here requires the seraph's head. I'm going to be moving quickly here because I'm a little blunted on sanity, so we better make sure we're moving as fast as possible. For this crow's feet, we need the legs of the seraph, so just place that down real quick. Moving on over this way, we have one last place we have to put down a piece of the seraph. Obviously, the body goes in the midsection of this goat. Well, anyway, putting down the seraph's body, that will cause the way forward to open up for us. So let's get a... Well, actually, that's more like an elk or a deer. Whatever. I've got goat on the brain because of what happened in the last video. Forgive me for that one. Over here, we get the fish key. Looks like a fish. I wonder what this is for. Someone has to be behind all this nonsense. I have a very bad feeling about all this. Regardless, let's take a look at what's over here. You get a diary entry number 2, so a little bit more insight into what's going on here. It's a damn piece of paper. Belief is a complex matter, as are its various manifestations. The human need for faith has led many down the path of ruin. Pagan heretics, covenants, and non-believers, all of them plentiful and diverse. That was until our Lord's word and glory rescued them from the pits of hell. The Lord's guidance, his benevolence has purified deities and purged their sinful acts, converted their false pagan piety into adoration for the Lord, now as saints recognized by the Church. Banished witches, their covenants and cults to revive them as leaders of faith. Saint Valpurga herself, born a witch and later baptized by the Lord. Her soul sanctified, divorced from the witch Valpurga. Saint Valpurga cannot be capable of producing such miracles. The birth of a child, no less. I'll have to delve deeper into our patroness's past, into what Old Holly could have meant. For the sake of Kieferberg, and for all that depend on me for salvation, I must find out what exactly Old Holly saw and did years ago. I must continue my research for Elisa's sake as well. What? This is Father Hans's writing. What does he know about Granny Holly that I don't? And why is he doing this? So, there's a bit of an interesting, bit of background information revealed. Saint Valpurga, at least in this universe, is a witch. I've seen this symbol before, haven't I? I have to wonder what this means. Hey, isn't that the maypole symbol? A man-sized sigil appears chiseled into the door's gritty surface, surrounded by uneven, scattered crevices. Well, there is something we can do with that door, but not right now. Getting the fish key is the last thing we can manage. We better get out of here before Elise goes completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like I said, if you want to get the achievement for running out of sanity, this is the place to do it. I wonder what I'm stumbling upon here. These notes and keys, these rituals of sorts. Someone ought to be putting these together for some purpose, but who? Who could be doing such a thing? Well, regardless, like I said, unlike the ruins at the crossroads, you are not necessarily beholden to complete this as soon as it becomes available. Tuesday is the earliest time you can advance this little quest line, but this one stays open for quite a bit longer. In fact, I don't think this windmill ever closes up until the final day, so you do have plenty of time to actually progress this one. If we actually want to progress this quest further, though, we cannot do so today. I believe it is Thursday. Let me just double check my guide here so that I can remember this right. Let's see. Yes, okay, it is Thursday, and anytime during the day we can advance the quest further at that point. As a matter of fact, we will be getting the last bits of information we need to have in order to complete this quest properly. So let me get into Thursday, and let me get to the point where we can actually continue moving on with this. Now, on Thursday, during the evening, but before the witching hour, well, naturally, we can examine the fish statue right here. The washing well's empty. That note, and that key. Whoever's been doing those rituals may have tampered with this faucet. And there are many times between or rather Tuesday and now, where you can examine the statue, but this is the first time we get an opportunity to look at it when nobody is around. And naturally, if we use the fish key on the fish statue, it fit! What in the Lord's name is going on in Kieferberg? Well, what have we got here? Another one of those caves. I'm starting to feel queasy again.
Keep it together, Elise.
I ought to pull myself together and get this over with. Alright, so let's take a closer look around here. You can break open these vases in order to get some matches. You will need a lit lantern in order to make this section work. Heading over this way, we can find something a little interesting. Diary entry 4? Well, where's diary entry 3? This was ripped out of some journal. Most of this was jotted down in a hurry, but Valpurga, the witch. I've uncovered her roots at last. Everything points back to Kieferberg, the birthplace of the witch Valpurga and her cult. This can't be. If there truly is a witch in Kieferberg, then adored and celebrated for centuries, the woodland surrounding this town was said to have a consciousness of its own. This consciousness, what we now call a witch, was named Valpurga. Folks' faith in its miracles dates from many years before the glory of the church reached these peaks, said to grant its believers good health, sustenance, and protection. The woodland, or Valpurga, harbored folks' wills, wishes, desires, and sins. In such a way, in fact, it would appear to folks under the guise of a woman. Whisper to the faithful, take the form of their loved ones, of an old hag, of a doe, amongst others. The six-ringed maypole, the symbol of St. Valpurga's benevolence we adore today, was first adored as the symbol of the witch's miracles and mercies. That is no more, however. St. Valpurga is a patroness of the church, a benevolent figure in our faith. With the arrival of the Lord's messengers to these peaks, the cult of Valpurga was eradicated. In fact, it is fact, however, that the few who lived become nomads of sorts. What is most puzzling to me is that my research into all of this history doesn't quite align with old Holly's confession. Valpurga, the witch, was never once was said to ask anything in return for its blessings. Neither was it ever referred to as a god or a male deity, rather a woman. How could he have granted old Holly a wish? This witch. How could a pagan deity do what the Lord himself won't? I'm fairly certain there's more to old Holly's sins than meets the eye. Granny Holly's sins, he says. None of this is true. Father Hans is losing his wits. Granny Holly would never hide anything from me. Over here, we get a glyph of a candle on the wall. The path ends here, but it looks to me like it caved in. I wonder if this used to connect to somewhere. Interesting. Not anything that we can follow up on right now, though. What we can follow up on is examining this over here. The candles will light in a very particular pattern. Okay, let's just get that one more time. So remember, we got to invert this, because if you look at the way the candles are lined up there... So yeah, that's one towards the bottom with the blank spot. That'll light up last. Alright, so what we need to do is hit this one, then this one, then this one, and, no, this one, and this one. There we go. Puzzle solved. And, they're all lit now, but there's still something missing, I think. If we examine this here, There's something in there, but I can't reach it. It's glowing really bright, too. I wonder if there's something I could place here. Now, if you think back, we've had some key items since the start of the game that haven't really done anything. Obviously, our tinderbox functions as lighting our lantern. We haven't really used the broom except to beat Rose and Marine over the head with it. But, what if we used Elisa's brooch? Hello? My brooch! It worked! Speaking of which, that ribbon the other day was rather similar to mine, too. First my ribbon, and now my brooch. I don't like this. Not one bit. Yeah, there were a lot of ribbons placed around the wood piles that we found inside the first cavern. And we get an old tunnel key now. Another key. I wonder what this one's for. Thankfully, we don't actually have to wait in order to utilize this one. May as well take back Elisa's brooch, you know, just for the memories. Now, to use this key, we actually have to go back to this key. Try every lock in Kieferberg and still not find out what it's for. Maybe it's best I give this some thought. This key is actually utilized in the cavern of the Windmill. Let's make our way back there. Also, probably a good idea to down a St. Valpurga's oil, which I preemptively bought because our sanity is getting a little low. That should give us enough to work with to get through the cave in the Windmill. Alright, so making our way back to the Windmill, we have to get back to that door, or what looked like a door, that portion of the wall that was carved with the maypole symbol. Let's just make our way over there, and if we walk up to it, I gotta remember where it actually is, and we elect to use our old tunnel key on it. So just pop that into this door here. And we will find ourselves whisked over to here. Where exactly is here? Well, first, take a look at this note here. The missing diary entry 3. A letter, it's torn, but I can't be convinced it was Valpurga, the witch, who's granted Old Holly her sinful wish. No part of my research has corroborated her confession. None of it mentions him. I am certain he, whoever he could be, is the key to Old Holly's last words. Unfortunately, I must confess to my own sinful ways through this letter, as my only chance at salvation after what I am about to bring upon all of Kieferberg. There's no other way but to call Valpurga the witch myself. Once I meet this witch, I'll be able to determine one of two things. If she truly is our patroness, Saint Valpurga, in her reformed glory as dictated by the Lord, I can fully dedicate the rest of my life as a clergyman to adoration and celebration of her miracles. If, however, she's not only a witch but a demonic entity masquerading as one, I have no choice but to bring the Lord's justice upon hers and Elisa's wretched souls, and end her reign once and for all. No, this can't be! This can't be true! I have to find out more. I have to break into his study. Where could we find an opportunity to do that, though? Well, regardless, going through this door will take us back to the initial cave, and this is what dropped previously, the catacombs key. Yet another key. There's a tag on it, though, though it's rather faded. Study. I think that's what it says. That's all I have now, I suppose. Father Hans's study. I'll have to find a way to sneak in. Indeed. And that is the last we can do with this for now. The only thing left to do is to get to the day of the festival. Once you have this catacombs key, you have what is necessary to get the secret plot ending. So let's continue on pursuing that. Alright, so, now, the only opportunity we're gonna have to investigate the church without having to worry about catching the ire of Father Hans is during the festival. Once the festival is ongoing, if you go into the church, you'll notice that the door to the right is slightly ajar. This is different from what we've usually seen of this. We can actually make our way in here now. Father Hans' study. It couldn't be. Well, let's take a look around at the various items here. If I can actually examine this. Father Hans's open journal. The Lord can't forgive me for such sins. Whether I succeed in my endeavors or not, my role as a pastor is already compromised. Summoning Valpurga, the witch, comes with its sacrifices. Eugen's horses, Lisbeth's lad, and even their goats. Elise herself. Me? All of Kieferberg has been compromised for the sake of doing away with this evil, so that nobody else may ever commit the same wretched sins as Old Holly. so that no accursed spawns of the devil himself may be brought into this world ever again. I'm not proud of what I've done, yet I believe it is a necessary procedure. May this sacrifice of mine allow my beloved Kieferberg to reach the gates of heaven. Beloved Kieferberg? It was him all along. The one setting up those rituals! Inviting all this chaos into Kieferberg! I have to get to the bottom of this. Checking out over here. Textbook after textbook after textbook. What is this? A journal? Valpurga the Witch. The creation of life wasn't by any means among her many blessings, however. That's precisely what old Kali claims she got out of the woodland. A baby. How can this be? Was the witch ever capable of producing life? Homunculi, golems. I've done my research on such heretic matters, and yet none of what I've gathered points towards this possibility. Nor was Valpurga's covenant interested in the creation of life. And if we take a look at the carpet here... Hey! A door. What would Father Hans need this for? So, this seems to be locked, but we do have one key left that we haven't used yet. Remember that catacombs key that we got? Well, we're in the study. Why don't we use this now? What in the... What is this place? Huh. Interesting. Hey, I'm not going anywhere until I figure this out. I can see where this might connect to, though. If we examine the things over here... Hey, there's the ribbon. Horseshoe. Some kind of doll off to the right there. You found your way here, I see. Father? My efforts haven't been in vain after all.
Is that so?
So it's true. You're the one who's been setting up those rituals. A necessary evil, Elise.
You old geezer!
What in the Lord's name are you trying to...
That's enough.
Do not invoke the Lord's name, witch! It's time I rid you of the evil within you, Elise. That I rid Kieferberg of what you represent.
What is this?
What are you saying? Old Holly never told you, did she? As I'd suspected. Told me what? She was a sinner, Elise. A witch in her own right. On her deathbed, she confessed her heaviest sin to me. That she prayed to the woodland for the baby she could not conceive. That baby is you, Elise. The product of witchery, heresy, and evil. To think old Holly had it in her to betray our Kieferberg in such a way. There's only one detail I cannot make sense of, however. She spoke of a he as her benefactor. That he had granted her wish for a heavy price. Who is this entity? Who this entity is, I have not yet determined. But you, Elise. What? You ought to know who she was talking about. I'm well aware where you've been these past few evenings.
What in the Lord's name?
You mean, who is he, Elise? Who is it you and your grandmother vowed to serve, you witches? All that I've sacrificed. Eugen's horses, Upfell, this town's livelihood and future.
Out with it!
Get away from me! It wasn't all in vain, lass.
You old geezer!
You're insane. Tell me, Elise, who is he? Is it Valpurga? Is it the devil himself? You're sick. Tell me!
What is this?
It's so dark. Where am I? Oh dear. Come now, my dear, my progeny. You were taken from me, by him, by your grandmother. How I have defied the odds and the gods to get a hold of you. Oh, Elise, I can feel your heart thumping in my chest, your burning fingertips, your tearful eyes. I can embrace you at last, embody your human vessel, live the life I've always wanted, yet could never create for myself. Your life, Elise, the life of a woman. And that is ending number 4, Apostasy. So, we do get some answers for who that old hag was, that actually was the witch, specifically the witch Valpurga, who isn't necessarily a woman per se, more like the embodiment of the forest itself. So it seems like we've got a bit of a collusion of plots going on here. Of course, we've got what we've seen of Walpurga. The moth-infested woodlands was, of course, her domain, which makes sense, I suppose. That seemed kind of divorced what was going on from what was going on with the Testaments. And of course, Hans was setting up some of the ordeals we went through. He was the one who kidnapped Opfel. He was the one who loosed Eugen's horses. And he is the one who's likely been just tampering with things all over Kieferberg to make things seem a little bit worse than they were, perhaps in an effort to flush out the witch, which, mission accomplished, I suppose. Not that it really worked out for him quite the way he was expecting, and it looks like Elise is undergoing a bit of a skinwalker phase off the back of this. So, kind of interesting, we've got so many different factions going on here, and you wouldn't really know this if you didn't think to look into this ending. Not that it really turned out super well for Elise. Maybe we should go look for, well, not necessarily happier outcomes, but alternative outcomes involving the various ladies we can try to woo. So that's what we'll focus on next time around, I think. Let's just see if there's anything in the credits here. No, it just kicks us right back to the title screen. So yeah, something of a non-standard game over there. So yeah, that is where we'll leave it. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, though, goodbye.
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined, but it's my right to waste your time.